Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another exciting episode of Frail Conversations. And today, as you've seen from the title, we're going to be talking about uh rejection, passive rejection. Sorry, passive rejection. Um, Sorry for the delay, y'all. Like I know it's been a long time. As you can see, the sound is a little bit different. It's a lot of bit different, to be honest with you. Like I honestly didn't like the way that last one sounded. Um, because my signal chain for I had to discover that signal chains for vocals and signal chains for podcasts are two totally different things when you're mixing music and you're mixing like podcast episodes and shit. So it was on some, yo, I gotta figure this shit out. Y'all know I'm a perfectionist and shit, so I gotta mastery is my thing. So if I don't get it how I want it to sound, how I know it's supposed to sound in my mind, I'm gonna keep working at it and working at it and working at it and working at it till I get it. So that's pretty much like where I was at with the shit. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what took so long, but we back in motion and shit. And yeah, going forward, we're gonna be doing and then on top of that, I was doing some other shit, had to relocate and doing some other shit, like, just acclimating and getting used to the new environment and this new life that's going through. And then my birthday was here. All right, too much bullshit that ain't got shit to do with shit. But all of that goes hand in hand with what we're gonna be talking about today, and basically what we're gonna be going over. So, well, it ain't gonna go hand in hand with what we're talking about today. I don't even know why I said that shit. But yeah, as you see, it is a little bit different. So I do want to apologize for not putting out a So Frail Conversations. And now it's like getting back into the rhythm of it after so long is like, yeah, it feels like a long ass break. But yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. So passive rejection. The reason why I'm having this episode is because I was I was talking to a homie and shit, and he was telling me like that you still my dog, bro. I'm not trying to play you out or no shit like that. But conversations, what I'm saying, they lead to information, and the information leads to podcast episodes that I can tell a lesson in. So I'm gonna do that. So homie was telling me about, the shorty he was macking to and talking to and shit, trying to get at. And in trying to get at shorty was like, he was like, she kept telling me that we couldn't fuck with each other, but she wouldn't tell me we couldn't fuck. I said, oh, that was passive rejection, bro. He was like, what? I was like, yo, that's passive rejection. Like, you know how motherfuckers would be passively aggressive? Like women typically passively reject men. You feel me? And he was like, but she ain't had to do all that shit. And I was like, you see how kind of tense you just got? Like, you feel what I'm saying? That's why they passively reject us. You feel me? Passive rejection is a safety mechanism for them. And I think it's something that we need to address so we can be aware of, because whole time we like, whole time we be thinking shorty playing hard to get, and she's not. She's just passively rejecting you. You feel what I'm saying? She don't want to hurt your feelings. She don't want to hurt your ego. But most importantly, she wants to stay alive. You feel me? She doesn't want to get hurt. She doesn't want to get, assaulted. She doesn't want to get spazzed on because she chooses to not choose you. And there's other levels that go into that shit. And I feel like, I feel personally like I really just need to address them, because this is a topic that happens. Now, don't get me wrong. This ain't going to be a flex moment. Because I've been passively rejected before several times. And it was like, yo, like you could have just told me, you know what I mean? And then it's on some, well, nah. And this is how I know, because it was on some, we would still be cool. It wouldn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because for me, I'm only going to shoot my shot at motherfuckers I know. Like, I don't know if y'all heard the episode. It's a while back when I was talking about relationships. Like, for me, it goes friendship, then we actually move through the level. So when I'm looking at my friend, you know what I'm saying? Now, this is not to say that I'm going to fuck my friends or I fuck my friends, but this is my mentality because of how I understand relationships work. I don't want to end up in a relationship with a motherfucker who ain't my friend. So I start off as the friend, and then when I decide, okay, our friendship, or the friend that I think you are, the friend that I want you to be, or whatever the case may be, is worthy, and I'm worthy enough, I feel like we should, go there. But I guess because, we have that decorum and shit, you know what I mean? It doesn't translate. And so in those moments when that happened, it was like, you know what? I'm just not in a space to do this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, You could just say no. And it's like we would go into, like, from there, the friendship conversations will return, and we'll start talking as friends, and then it'll come out and it'll be like, oh nah, you curved me. It ain't no, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's no spinning the block now on no shit like that, but it's no bad blood. But at the same time, in hearing them talk about it, it was like, yeah, because you gotta say it like that, because sometimes men don't get the hint. Sometimes men don't get the picture. And men will do some stupid shit to you just because you reject them. And when you consider what passive rejection really is, it's like, how many of y'all really don't get the fucking hint? Like that's the real deal Holyfield question. Like, how many of y'all don't really get the motherfucking hint when it's given to you? So much so that ideation had to be created where motherfuckers is passively rejecting us. And the goofy shit of it all is like, we don't even know. That's really what a lot of this episode is also going to dive into. It's like the fact that you need passive rejection in order to, you know what I'm saying, be rejected, but still you can't even read the room and read the clues to say, yo, it's just, and again, this ain't a shot at my homie. This ain't a shot at my homie or no shit like that. This is a bigger scale because a lot of us go through this. Oh, she just playing hard to get. Nah, she just don't want you. And that's cool. And I think it has to do with the fact that if we spent more time understanding what it was like to get women, or actually knew what it was like to get women beyond sex and actually get into their mind and talk to them in a healthy way, we would be able to see when we're being rejected. So much so that we wouldn't even have to, we would know that we're being rejected before things even got initiated. But before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. Be sure to check out my website at iamjustseen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the podcast. Not the episode, but the podcast itself. And as always, Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And you know the vibes. That's that for this, and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into So Frail Conversations, passive rejection. And don't forget to visit iamjustseen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit iamjustseen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit iamjustseen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit iamjustseen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit iamjustseen.com. You ever want to just chat with Scene about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit iamjustseen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at iamjustseen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit iamjustseen.com. All right. Welcome back. Ow. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get heavy into this motherfucker. So let's consider passive rejection, right? As a whole, yeah, it's kind of a play on words and play on ideation from passive aggressive, because when we consider what the passive aggressive people do is they be some of the most sinister motherfuckers ever, bro. Now this isn't to call women sinister, but passive aggressive people be some of the most sinister motherfuckers ever. But they won't do the physical shit. They won't do the hard part because they can't do the hard part. Either they can't do the hard part or they're afraid of it. So I've dealt with passive aggressive dudes, especially passive aggressive men, and I be wanting to punch them in their fucking mouth. Like, a lot of them be, I ain't gonna say what they be because, you feel me, it is what it is. But a lot of passive aggressive men, they talk shit, they talk slick shit, but they wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. You feel me? But they do it in a way that makes it so that if you do address it, it doesn't look like it was. You feel what I'm saying? So when we tie that to passive rejection, a woman will confidently reject you or complimentarily reject you as well. And you don't even know. She'll be like, yeah, you this, that, and the third, because they're so wired and programmed to being attacked once they reject the man. Now I get it. A lot of us, you know what I'm saying, ego gets involved because when we know we're him, when we know with that, when we know we got our shit on point and she don't know it and we just trying to, show her that, yo, I got my shit together. I want to fuck with you. It's like she don't know that. And so when that rejection comes, it's almost like you have to read between the lines with it. Because the whole time, you're a nice guy, you're this, that, and the third, but I'm not interested or this, that, and the third because you can't just say no. And that's a scary reality to know that we deal with when women just can't say no. And it's not that they can't say no verbally. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just two letters, right? But it's deeper than that because of the collective aftermath of what could potentially happen for rejecting a man who's not emotionally stable, who's not in tune with himself, who does not have everything, doesn't have all his marbles and shit. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's just that simple. And I don't want it to seem like this episode is going to be me bashing us because, that's never the situation. That's never the case. But I need it to be understood that sometimes we got to correct our own reality. We got to correct our own reality, and we have to realize that it's too many of us for this to be a reality. You feel what I'm saying? When we consider the passive aggressive shit, passive rejection shit, right? Think about a time when you had it. And did you know that it was actually the thing? Excuse me. And did you know it was actually a reality? Because check this out. To be able to know that you have to navigate that way shows what is internally bothering you. And I'm not talking about men on this one. I'm talking about women. Like when women have to actually sit down and say, you know what? I have to passively reject this man. They don't call it passive rejection. I just really made that shit up when I created this episode. But I wanted to talk about the gist of all of the shit that goes into it. But they made that up in the context of knowing that when it's all said and done, my bad. I'm trying to get my sound right. I don't feel. I ain't done this shit in so long. I don't feel like I sound right. But yeah, they have been in a space where they had practiced this so long that it's second nature. And sometimes they do it with the intention that every man that speaks to them is going to try to holler at them, so they have to reject them passively. Oh, I'm not interested, this, that, and the third. And then it's like, what is our initial response to that? Well, nah, bitch, I ain't even. Now I'm saying like everybody don't do that. We all don't do that. I hope not. But it's enough of us that do that to where it's a problem. I remember when I was young, I had a big homie. He used to teach me. He was like, yo, whenever you go to get a number, make sure you bum me. Nigga, why the fuck would I do that shit? He said, because that's when your game is real. If you can get her while you bumming, you got it. You feel me? And you really get it, and that's the number that you should have. And so equally, this same motherfucker was like, yo, and that's how he got his women. And when I say he had them, nigga had them. I wanted to be like him when I got older. I passed him, but I wanted to be like him when I got older when he was telling me the game because he would always go out looking like a straight bum. And not like to clubs or parties or no shit like that. But when you seen him pulling a number, you would like from afar, you be looking like this nigga ain't even like this homeless. You I ain't gonna say he looked homeless like that, but I'm using it for dramatic effects. He'd be like, from the outside looking at you, like this homeless motherfucker got her smiling and geeking and shit like that. But when you hear the conversation that he be giving her, shit different. Shit different. He's the one who taught me like, yo, you don't holler at these chicks, you just have a conversation. And then as the more she laughs, the more you feed into whatever it is that's making her giggle. Alright, Nick. I was too young to have that much motherfucking power. But I had it, nigga. But so this same one is like, I seen him hollering at this chick or whatever the case may be, completely turned him down. He said, yo, I can get her, bro. I said, but you didn't get her. He said, I can get her, watch. He said, but this is the type of woman that she is. I'm going to show you. So he came back, got his hair braided up, fresh to death and shit. Got his, you know what I'm saying? Nigga bought a whole outfit. Like, trappers, this is what they do. Nigga bought a whole outfit just to go talk to a girl that rejected him. Just so he can cuss her out. So the next day he's saying her, she is on him. Like when I say on him, it's just like he's standing in the spot, just chilling. And it's like she didn't even know it was the same person. Like it's like that's how wired the rejection was to the physical. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like, all right. He said, nah, man, fuck you. And she was like, what? Excuse you, whatever. And he threw a penny at her and shit. He said, bitch, I was the same motherfucker that was in this motherfucker trying to holler at you yesterday. And now all of a sudden, because you see a motherfucker got bread and got a little bit of money and shit, now you want to fuck with me and shit. This is why they passively reject us. That right motherfucking there is why they passively reject us, because they have to. Because now, even worse now, like that was before, you know what I'm saying? Because I had to be about like anywhere between 13 and 15 when he was giving me the game and shit. But that was before men started calling themselves the prize. That was before all of the sassy shit. That was before all of that. You feel what I'm saying? It's like over 20, it's about 20 years ago. So I'm looking at it from, is it 20? Yeah, it's about 20 years ago, close to 20. So when we look at it now, it's like there's a whole different arrogance of men. And largely, I feel like it's the absentee fathers and shit that make it like this. But there's an abundance of men who respond this way. There's an abundance of men who respond this way who feel I'm entitled to this woman solely because I spoke to her. That shows a different mentality and a different thought process that you have. Because if you feel like that, then what value do you hold in women to where you feel you're entitled to all of them? And I'm saying that on the strength that it's about to get a little dark, because what value do you have as a man? Like I get this was well before the high value shit, but I get that we feed into this high value rhetoric and this high value in indoctrination. Y'all don't be having value, bro. And I say that with the most modesty, like y'all don't be having value for real. If we're gonna be honest with it, y'all are just, I don't know. I don't know where y'all get this sense of entitlement from and this aggrandizement for yourself that you don't have. But it's carrying that into it. And I think largely a lot of it comes into our potential and the potential we know that we have. We just ain't actualized it. And I'm gonna keep it 100. This gonna sound fucked up, but this even applies to me and myself. And I held myself to this standard. And if you see the rest of my life going forward, you'll see why I held myself to this standard. Like if you have not actualized your potential, you can't call yourself valuable. This is not me saying that I don't call myself valuable. I didn't see the value in myself, because I always knew the value in myself, but I knew that I had not actualized the full value that I'm trying to tell motherfuckers I got. You feel what I mean? And this is not to say that you're less of a person or less of a man or anything like that, but this is the society that we're living in, bro. This is the world that we actually caught up in and we're wrapped up in, so we got to play the game accordingly. You feel me? You can't you can't say you have any ounce of value if you do not actualize your potential. Sitting on your potential and, one day is going to come. That one day is when your value will be realized. You feel what I mean? And so we get this sense of entitlement because we know how much potential we have and what we'll have eventually. But we got to realize that's not the game that we live in. So we approach women from the perspective of, I'm going to lead with my potential, but she's like, yo, I need to see what your value is. If in fact you are that high value person. So they passively reject potential. You feel me? Some of us, because I know I was good at it when I was a kid, some of us are good at finessing the potential to make it look like it's on the forefront. Well, I ain't going to say finessing it, because my potential was always on the forefront. I guess the actualization of my potential now that I'm older is different. You feel me? And knowing the potential that I had then, good student in school and high school and shit, college, the potential was like, yo, he's actualizing his potential. But it's a difference. Like once we become adults and shit, we at the stages now where our potential got to be actualized. And that's where the fucked up part about it is, because a lot of us don't have that potential actualized yet and we still working towards it, but we out here trying to date and we out here trying to secure lifelong shit. This is another reason why shit don't be working out in the long term, because we get with somebody when we're actualizing our potential. You feel me? Most of the relationships that we tried to have for the long run and tried to have for the long haul, and I hope my young bulls is listening on this one, we lock in with these motherfuckers with the potential still being actualized. That person that you currently are is not going to be the person that you're going to be once your potential is actualized. Therefore, that woman is going to be different too. I'm not saying don't date. I'm not saying don't involve yourself with serious relationships. But what I'm saying is involve yourself with relationships that are in alignment with the potential you're actualizing with the intent to make it reach a certain destination, which means you can't get with the bad bitch that's just the bad bitch now because she's not going to be bad to you once your potential is actualized. She's only bad to you because your potential is being actualized. And again, well, this is so Frail Conversations. I ain't got to give too many motherfucking disclaimers. Women shouldn't be here listening to this one anyway. Come back on Tuesday. I mean, on Wednesday. But nah, the reason why that happens and you feel stuck or you feel like we make crazy decisions out of potential, out of our own potential and the potential that we're actualizing, not realizing the future cost of what's going to happen and what's going to happen down the line if we don't realize that is this woman also actualizing her potential in alignment with me? You feel what I'm saying? And that's what largely gives us that sense of entitlement. Because how many bad bitches can you pull when you didn't even like? I used to say it myself. I know the homies in my circle have said it, and it's like, yo, you know how many bad bitches I pull when I want shit? If that don't give you a sense of entitlement, I don't know what does. You feel what I'm saying? Do you know how many bad bitches I pull when I ain't have shit? So now that I got shit, or I'm even working towards shit, you feel me? Oh, now you supposed to give me your number. Because in our minds, we're predicating our reality off all of the bad bitches that we got, all of the bad bitches that we had. And so now we have to be, now this same entitlement strokes our ego to make us now have to be rejected passively. You feel what I'm saying? It's deeper than just the looks. If that's, I'm not even talking about the looks at this point. Like if that's what you have to bank on, my guy, you feel me? You not, can't call yourself him, but so much of us want to be defined by the physical. You feel me? And how physically attractive and appealing we are. And we forget that we don't actualize potential. You know what I'm saying? We don't actualize our potential. So now, like I said, that entitlement, you going into it from the perspective of I get bad bitches. You gotta ask yourself why you get bad bitches, because the reason why you get bad bitches is equally the reason why you're being passively rejected right now. Because largely, and what you're approaching and the woman you're approaching at this particular point ain't a bad bitch. She's bad. Don't get me wrong. She's looking like, but she's not a bad bitch. And you know, bad bitches are mentalities. And because we have allowed that external to decorate so much of our own personal realities and shit. What we don't realize is that we don't value cores anymore. You feel me? You could tell if a woman ever passively rejects you, you can tell the core of that woman. You feel what I'm saying? And she can already dictate and feel. Now, this is not on no. I segue because I instantly had a thought about that balloon popping joint where the shorty was like, well, I don't just like the way you speak, your day to day speak or whatever the case may be. It's vernacular, lady. Like, shut up. Like, dude was trying to, you know what I'm saying? But in that, she was trying to undermine him. And that was a form of the passive rejection. But then when it got to the point where, oh, you really are that. You really are what I just tried to play you out as. You feel what I'm saying? Now I have to try to attack you or whatever the case may be. But all of that shit links up and goes into the passive rejection shit. Because it starts off, oh no, your fit is nice, you this, that, and the third, but I just can't do that. And it's like, if you're not used, as a man, if you're not used to the compliments, if you're not used to shit like that, it fucks with you because you're complimenting me while telling me no. I did a dramatic pause with that. But you're complimenting me while I'm telling you no. While you're telling me no. So it's like, I don't get it because now in that mentality, you're not thinking that it's deeper than just your physical. That's why it's like on paper, you look good. But now it's like, what else do you bring to that? Not to the table, but to the aesthetic. You feel me? And that's where we getting fucked up at. And this is why we got to be passively rejected because I was listening to a song by Al B. Shore. Light skinned nigga shit. I'm only saying light skinned nigga shit to be dramatic. Y'all know I ain't on that colorism shit. But The nigga was light skinned and he did say the shit. But in the song, I think it's called On Your Own. He said, "What's wrong with me? I don't look good enough for you." It's like, nigga, that's your approach. That's your approach. And so watching it fast forward, and I'll be sure made that song in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s and shit. So fast forward to where we are now at the balloon popping shit. Once these women say, blah, 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 the dudes look and say, so what's wrong with what I got on? Like, you feel me? Not realizing that that's the scapegoat. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, I'm going to compliment you and say, but it's not this. Like, oh yeah, you got your fit is nice, this, that, and the third, but it's something because they don't understand what it is that they rejected. Sometimes they rejecting the fact that they don't feel like they worthy enough to be fucking with you. That's a whole different can of worms. I might save that for another episode. But there are instances when women they really and truly don't believe that they're good enough for the man that is actually approaching them. So you'll get passively rejected in that regard too. You feel me? Women know when a man is out of their league just as much as we know when a woman is out of our league. But see, here's the difference with that. When we know a woman is out of our league, we're not gonna go talk to her. You feel what I'm saying? We're not gonna go talk to her. We just gonna say, hey, nah, fuck that. I'll admire from afar. You feel me? But women don't get that luxury. Women don't get that luxury of saying I'll admire from afar because this man is approaching you currently, and it's like, damn. So it's like I gotta passively reject you. I got a lot going on. It's just not. I'm not in a space to date. You gotta think about what she really saying. I've involved myself with women in my past when they'll tell me and shit like, you feel me? I'm not in a space to be, dating or committing or anything like that. I just want to focus on me, blah, blah, blah. I'm cool with it. I move on. But then I see him with another dude or whatever the case may be. But then I don't, not on a comparison shit, but I look at the guy that she's with and I'm like, that's her league. I'm not shitting on a man. I'm not saying that he's less of a man than me or he's not this, that, and the third, but I'm able to observe what her league is and what she's able to handle. You feel what I'm saying? I know I started off on, it seemed like I was talking like, nah, I gotta give the positive side of the shit too, because a lot of times it ain't, them thinking, sometimes it's them thinking I'm not built for this man yet. You feel me? I'm not built for this man yet. And this segues into like this one particular woman, like this, it made me want her more because she curved me without curving me. She looked me straight in my soul and said, you know what? I ain't even gonna hold you. I don't think I could fuck with, like, it happened 2 times, but different dynamics. The first dynamic that I'm speaking on, shorty was like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm not prepared to fuck with a man like you yet. She was like, I know we, social media and the world got us thinking that, the healing aspect isn't something that people doing, or healing is not what it is. But I can tell you are healed. I can tell that you put in the work and I haven't done it yet. So I'm not even going to fuck with you on no type time like that because I know I'm not ready like that. I respected that. It made me want her more because I'm like, damn, bro, like you get it though. So that means you can, to do the work. But then it comes with another can of worms, which leads to the other woman that I was talking about, where they have to reject you because they know that in their mind it's going to develop insecurity within them. For the other woman, it wasn't that insecurity was going to kick in. It was just, she was like, I just know I'm not there yet. And it's not going to be fair to you. You feel me? But then it's like, yo, there's the insecurity that I'm going to have. And when there's an insecurity there, because what she always say, you must say that to all your girls. Or I know you got other hoes or whatever the case may be. But the ones who passively reject you from out of that dynamic and out of that perspective, you have to respect it. You have to respect it. It ain't like they're trying to, shit on you or like, but sometimes it's an internal thing. It's an internal thing. And again, this comes from actually having women friends. Like they tell me a lot of shit. I just come back and report it to y'all from this filtered lens, but they tell me a lot of shit. And they're like, sometimes, it's like, yo, we got to reject him because we know that nigga got too many hoes. Or I know that this nigga can see somebody better than me. And I'm being dramatic when I'm saying certain shit, using certain wordages and context. But that's where we at with this shit. So they'll kindly tell you, and now it's fucking with you because it's like, damn. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that automatically this is you. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not saying this is automatically you, but you know if it's you. You know if it's you, and you can tell if it's you by how you get passively rejected. You feel what I'm saying? Because she's gonna be honest with you. If she can really want you and know I'm not gonna fuck it up. There's women that don't even give a fuck, but they know that I'm not built for this type of person. I'm not built for this type of man, and I'm still gonna fuck with him anyway because I don't want to miss this opportunity. Situations like that happen to me as well. But the passive rejection situations happen in a more beautiful way. You feel what I'm saying? Because you don't necessarily know what dynamic she's coming from. If she's coming from the place, oh, I just don't want this. Like he's not what I want. That's cool. You feel me? But then you have to realize it's like he's what I want, but I'm not ready for. You feel me? Or is he's what I want, but I know I'm not built for it. I'm not built for what comes with that. As an entrepreneur, I'm telling you, I see some of the man. Not many women are ready for it. Not many women are built for entrepreneurship. Not in the sense of being entrepreneurs, but dating entrepreneurs. You can't. Like, and that's why I be trying to tell motherfuckers, you gotta have some business about yourself. You gotta have some kind of business about yourself in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's just a little bit. Like there's gotta be something within you business wise for you to understand me. Otherwise, you're gonna think like you're not gonna understand my decisions for shit. You feel what I'm saying? And then you're not gonna understand the value of my time. You feel what I'm saying? But there are women who do. There are women who do, and what they lead to? Passive rejection. Now, when you understand passive rejection, sometimes it makes you want to ask yourself, do I spin the block? When she ready? Fuck no. Cause that's waiting for her. That's allowing her to play catch up. And is it fair? Is it fair to allow a woman to play catch up? Is it fair to is it fair to have catch up involved when you are already in a certain point of in the race? You feel me? Because now, like I said, it goes into that entitlement. It goes into even deeper than the entitlement. It goes into the fear. Like you feel what I'm saying? Check out the fear, the real fear that comes with that shit. When you are looking at it from the perspective of, I feel entitled to this, but I can't have it. You feel what I mean? That's a different level of fear. That's a different level of understanding behind the full scope of everything that you're dealing with. You see what I'm saying? So when you already had that entitlement, because you did the race and you have been committed to the race and you've been running the race and you've been doing whatever the fuck you're doing with the race, and now it's like in this world of competition, we're now dealing with a space of I'm the best competitor and you still don't want me, or I'm the best competitor and you're telling me no, or you're telling me that you can't find yourself or you can't see yourself fucking with me. What does that do to you mentally? What does that do to you, psychologically as things go forward? Now motherfuckers talking about a pee in the dating pool. No, nigga, this ain't your dating pool no more. You feel what I'm saying? But a lot of dudes, a lot of us are in the space where we're wanting what we couldn't get when we were at a point when we didn't have our potential actualized. So we actually regress in many regards. You feel me? Which ties into the two dynamics of the passive rejection, where like I was mentioning, where the woman will say, "Oh, I just didn't put in the work for you," or "You've done work that I haven't done yet." You feel me? I'll get to the other ones later, but this part is important too, because it's like what makes us want to regret, what makes us desire to regress. You feel me? We're never in a position where we're taught to actually interact with our equals, only our inferiors, because we're in a competitive space. So our comfort and solace resides into dealing with a competitor who is weaker than us. That's why I be trying to tell y'all motherfuckers, like, women ain't naturally submissive. We don't naturally like submissive women. When you actually get into a space where you now actualize your potential, a submissive woman don't even intrigue you. And motherfuckers don't even realize that shit. A submissive woman don't intrigue you when you've actualized your potential and you have utilized your reality correctly. Now you're focused on, I built so much that now I can only fuck with women I can collaborate with. Which means in order to co-create, she has to have some level of unleashing within herself where she's not looking to be subservient because she knows not to be. You feel what I mean? But when we choose to regress and go back, So sometimes that passive aggression is cool. But again, it comes with a sense of entitlement. Why we're even approaching this type of person anyway. This is not, again, to say that these women are beneath us. This is not, again, it's to say that they're not the same. We're not the same person we were when our potential wasn't actualized. So why are we trying to deal with these people when our potential has been actualized? If it's been actualized. You feel what I mean? I just had to have a sit with that for a moment because it's like, I'm in my mind, I'm slightly debating if I should change the title of this, but it's already been rolling so long. I don't really give a fuck at this point because it's now coming into actualized potential. But that, and it's drifting away from, passive rejection. I should have recorded the shit when I actually thought about it a month ago. But I guess everything works how it works out. But when you're in that space and you're now looking at it from, this is the rejection that I faced. What is it tied to? And why do you feel that this rejection was required and necessary? Because there comes with a level of respect too. And I don't think we're so men, because like I say, respect is to men what love is to women. So we're so wired to respect that we don't even know we're being respected when we receive passive rejection. Hey bro, for real though, at some point we gotta stop talking to women about masculinity and start talking to each other about it. And I mean really talk to each other. Not as enablers and co-signers, but as men trying to reach the pinnacle of our essence. And that's what the So Frail series does. So Frail 1 is the definition. So Frail 2 is the acknowledgement. And So Frail 3 is the resolution. If you rock with the So Frail conversations, I can guarantee you will rock with the So Frail series of books. So visit IamJustSeeing.com right now so you can add the series to your library. I promise you will never look at masculinity the same again, and you're going to stop wasting your time arguing with women about it. This is a conversation that men need to have between men, and it's time we start having this conversation now. Because she didn't have to say it like that. Usually they don't say it like that. They tell you whatever the fuck they want to tell you and they leave it at that. Rude as fuck. They don't give not damn fuck about what the fuck it is you talking about, and they don't give a fuck how you respond. But when they do give you that little sense of decorum, you feel what I'm saying? It's different. Like, shit different, bro. Shit different. I'm sorry. Like, I keep thinking about some of the women that, that passively rejected me and shit. And it's like, damn, bro, like, why you still want to kick it though? Like, why you still want to be around if we can't fuck with each other, bro? But I respect it. I respect it because they respected me enough to know not to waste my time. They respected me enough to know that, and for all I know, it could have been a facade. It could have been a front. They could have just been telling me that. But just from the experiences that I've had, I can tell the difference between which type of passive rejection I'm receiving. You feel me? Because they'll still have conversations with me. They'll still talk. Like, when you get rejected and it's a no, it's a hard no, bro. Ain't no, they told you that shit to make you feel good so you can get the fuck out their face. But then, do you get out their face? You feel what I'm saying? Do you get out their face? And that comes with not being able to deal with rejection. Yeah, I guess I'm going to keep it rejection because we're spinning it back. So that comes back into, do you handle rejection? And most of us as men, we don't. You feel what I'm saying? No is, well, it's not even so much as men, but because humans as a whole here know a lot. But as men, a lot of our no's are tied to a lot of the no's that we receive are tied to the essence that we have as a person. You see what I'm saying? When a woman rejects us a shit, it's like that shit hit different because we know it's tied to a status symbol we don't have yet. You feel what I'm saying? Like, look at the podcast space right now. It's a lot of niggas that finally got the shit that they were supposed to get when they was mad in elementary school. That's the attention that they wanted. Like, you feel me? We got the attention because we was that. You feel me? We was him. We was those dudes. We was whatever the fuck you want to call it. That was us. And they weren't it. They're just now getting it now. And so this, for them, that's why. You see how volatile they get? Like, one of the bulls, he got a whole podcast and shit. Shit weird. Like, I don't even understand how men be following him and shit. Like, I get it. He talked a good game. I think I seen one of his videos and shit. He the dude that hit the little air horn or the little blow horn or Jamaican horn and shit. That burn, 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 and just start cussing motherfuckers out. It's like, nigga. Like, I would hate to see you get rejected, bro. I would literally hate to see you get rejected. But the reason why I mentioned him is because I seen one of his videos where he was talking about he got 5 baby mamas and he paid child support for all of them. Like, nigga, that's not a flex. You fucked up 5 homes, nigga. You just potentially fucked up 5 homes. Ain't even no potentially in the shit. There's 5 families now. You have 5 baby mamas. That is 5 families now, my nigga. And who you're giving advice? You complaining about Pookies and Ray Rays when, nigga, you a Pookie and a Ray Ray, nigga. You just did it later. I don't give a fuck if you can pay child support. I don't get, like, you fucked up 5 families, bro. You broke 5 homes up by yourself before homes were even built. Ain't that some shit? I don't even know why I just chose to mention him, but that I did. I mentioned him because he's one of those that are always talking about the rejection. And, women, you can't, it's like, yo, y'all can't reject us now that y'all use and damage goods and shit like that. Yes, they can, nigga, because what are you if you're looking for used and damaged goods, bro? Like, women they don't be becoming damaged goods and fucked up and used and all of that shit until we don't want them. Like, you'll holler at a chick that motherfucking got 4, 5 kids and shit right now, but if she rejects you, then all of a sudden, oh, but bitch, you got 4, 5 kids. Then you want to throw the insults, and you can't insult the motherfucker that you were just trying to holler at. But it comes into our disdain for women, and this is why I always say, you got 3 types of men. You got the homosexuals who like, you got the homosexuals who like women, homosexuals who don't like women. Then you got the heterosexual men. It's the motherfuckers or the homosexuals who don't like women that be on this shit. Like that, they get extra aggressive when they get rejected. They get extra volatile when they in that spaces and in those spaces and shit, because a lot of them, some projection shit. I can't, you're not allowing, you're not helping me hide. Pause. I had to throw that in. Shout out to that episode. I don't even remember what episode it was, but I remember talking about pause and shit. But yeah, y'all niggas is in that space though. You feel me? So when y'all get rejected, y'all take that shit extra personal, because it's like, for some, it's an expose. It's like, you rejected me because, what, do you know something about me? Shit, I don't fucking know. Like, I just don't understand why y'all get mad. I just don't understand why y'all get mad, so angry at rejection. Like, what is it that what is it that scars you with it to where you have to get violent? And some of y'all, it's like that upset. Like, now I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. Women get just as upset. Women can be just as volatile. Women can be just as savage and rude and unruly when they get rejected. Trust me, I know. I know. I done had women assume that I said that they wasn't valuable. I'm like, yo, you, just cause a motherfucker like you just cause you like a motherfucker don't mean they supposed to like you back. Even deeper, just cause you like a motherfucker to a certain extent don't mean that they liked you that same way. You feel what I'm saying? So when you approach somebody, oh damn, you so beautiful, you just stand the third. That's why I'm like, I try not to get wrapped up in introducing myself or hollering at women I want based off of their looks and say, yo, you're so beautiful, I just had to come speak this and the third. Fuck that compliment shit, cause that shit's trash. That compliment approach to get motherfucking women, that shit is trash and shit. Motherfuckers, if y'all still using that shit, y'all behind the curve, and that's why y'all ain't us. That's y'all ain't where we at. And y'all ain't gonna be able to do what we do and move how we move simply because of that. You feel what I'm saying? But when you are in that space, that's why you can't fathom why I just complimented you. I just gave you a rose. I just made you feel good. I just tried to make your day and all of this other shit, and you still said no. You performed, nigga. Like, the fuck? You was out here trying to perform for the shit. Goes back into the entitlement. If I do what everybody else is doing, if I'm doing what everybody else is doing, why should I get the girl that everybody trying to get, or the woman that everybody trying to get, while doing what everybody else is doing? So now when I get rejected, it's like, yo, yeah, I did the same thing everybody else did, probably a little bit better, a little bit different, or maybe even worse. But how dare you tell me no? Because the society says that the man pursues, the man wants. And it's like, this makes me think of a post that I had made a couple years ago where I stole it from one of my homegirls and shit. And the post is about getting choked. and shit like that. A woman saying that she wanted to get choked. So I took it upon myself to make a caption off the motherfucker where I was saying, hey, broskis, you got to understand that the man she's envisioning choking her is okay. The woman you're envisioning choking is not, because you don't know if that woman wants to be choked by you. And I made that post because I needed to go into perspective. Like, we have to understand what's in our minds. Just because this woman says, I'm looking for this type of man to approach me this way, and you go and approach her that way, that doesn't mean she's looking for you to approach her. Like, she has a whole vision in her mind of what man will feel that script when he does it. And it might not be you. And if you're in a space where you're in a space where you constantly are trying to do what everybody, you're going to get passively rejected. You feel what I'm saying? You're going to get passively rejected. And you're going to get passively rejected in such a way that it, I ain't going to say it takes you off your pivot, but it makes you look stupid. And then you get angry and you get mad because that entitlement comes in of, I'm supposed to be able to do this. Like, you supposed to want to fuck with me. Why? Because now, like I said, it goes back to that value shit. What value do y'all motherfuckers really be contributing? And what value do you have? Like, look at it like this. When you're approaching a woman, ask yourself, what value are you contributing to her life? I'm not trying to side with them and be on that women's side shit and niggas, y'all got to cash out $500. Fuck that. I'm asking it straight up like this. What value do you have that requires this woman in your life? This is what I mean when I'm talking about potential. This is how I know a lot of us have not truly actualized our value because we think any woman could fit that position. When you have not actualized your potential and turned it into value, you think any woman can fit in your space. It's until you have some shit to lose that you can really see, I can't fuck with this type of woman. You become intensive with the type of women that you're looking at. You can't fuck them all, and you don't try to fuck them all. You don't try to get them all. You're looking at it from a perspective of which woman can now contribute to the value that I have to contribute out to the world. Which woman can reflect the value that I have to reflect. And a lot of times we get in those spaces with potential. A lot of us, we're too old to just like, I'm not saying if you still working, you still grinding, you still putting that shit out, keep putting your shit on. Keep putting your shit on. It took me some time to get to that point to where I could say my value is now reflective outside of me and it's not just in my head. But I had to put in the motherfucking work. And it's in putting in the work that I realized that, oh yeah, they all can't be here, bro. They all can't be here. But when you think any woman can be in that space, you realize you have not actualized your potential, and you low key might not even be tapping into it, bro. And I'm not saying that to shit on you. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm saying that because it's a true reality. You feel me? You no longer get like I always mention the point of the cheetah and the spider when it comes to hunting. The cheetah is unrealized potential. It's, I'm hungry. The spider is, I built the whole web and whatever lands that I eat when I want to. So yeah, I have a choice to be picky. A lot of y'all are picky with unrealized potential. I'm not saying I'm picky when it comes to women, although I am, but I don't approach women on no picky shit. Like, oh girl, I'm the prize. Oh girl, I'm this, that, and the third. I don't talk to them like they talk to us, but at the same time, I understand what value I'm contributing, and I'm filtering out, show me what your values are and if they align with mine. This is why the whole flattery shit, when you first apply, that shit is done. That shit is done. A lot of us at this level now, we don't approach women on no shit like that. We have a conversation now. With this conversation now we having, I got to see where your head at. I've been on this shit since I was in undergrad. Like when I told Shorty and shit, like in my freshman year, I said, yo, you give me 5-minute conversation with any woman I want, I'll get a number. You can't get me. I don't want you. I'm telling you, you give me a 5-minute conversation with any woman I want and I can get her phone number. Give me over 5 minutes and I'm a fuck. At the time, y'all. At the time. I'm not exploiting that shit these days. But you give me over 5 minutes and I'm fucking you. Because now I'm like, I already know what my life is. And I'm in the process of realizing my potential. So now I'm like, all right, yeah, you can be in here. And I can place you where you need to be. But then once that value has been realized and you start contributing and giving that to you realize I can't just give my value anywhere. But now when you're walking into situations where you're approaching women and you're dealing with women in this type time and you're getting rejected, you have to look at why. For some of us, it shouldn't matter why. I'm that nigga, I'm him. Whatever. Some of y'all still living in your glory days from high school talking about I'm him. You was. You're not that anymore. I think that that fucks with value a little bit more because it's worse than unrealized potential. Because it was potential had, that's potential lost, and potential never reclaimed again. Ooh, that's a bar, nigga. Some of us are literally walking in that space. And when we get passively rejected, they see that shit. That's why they're passively rejecting us. I know you're approaching me from your glory days. I know you're speaking from the perspective of your glory days. You're not in those days anymore. But those days are all you have. Which again ties into why we can't handle rejection. Because we're rejected off of what we put on the forefront. And what we're put on the forefront is what we're taught respect is and how we gain our respect. So if the way in which I gained my respect and I had disrespect at the height of my life and shit, like this is how I got to lead with. I'm not truly being myself. I'm not truly leading with myself. I'm leading with my status. So my essence ain't there. So because my essence ain't there, my status has to be what's rejected. Because again, I'm gonna approach on some cliche shit. Wow, you're so beautiful. I just wanted to know your name. This, that, and the third. It's like, yo, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, bro. Look, I'm gonna give y'all a quick nugget on how to get any number you want. Right, any number you want from the jump. Fuck with her. It fucks with her mind. Right, because for one, you're gonna approach her differently, and the rejection is gonna be totally different if you get rejected. But if you're gonna reject, if she does reject you, it'll be with a memory left. Another thing, before I go into that point, we got to stop being so down on rejection. Like, to be rejected in the first encounter of meeting somebody that you don't know, that's not a bad thing. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's like, sometimes we got to sit back, like, because I come from a cloth, like, where you went out, you got the number that night. And it was that simple. You got the number that night. And if you didn't get the number that night, you'll never see her again. You didn't care. That wasn't what it was. So we had a small window. But we got to think about how unrealistic that small window is. There's literally, when you have a window that small where you have to get the number the first time you meet her, nigga, either you're going to be very deceptive, very manipulative, or you're going to constantly get rejected. Like, that's what it is. Charisma is a powerful motherfucking energy, but at the same time, it comes with its vices, because how much charisma can you have? Well, it doesn't matter how much charisma you have when you can't be honest with the charisma you have to use. You feel what I'm saying? So when you are looking for the woman that you want to get the number for, just have a conversation. It'd be something simple. If you see a chick that's bad, or you see a woman that's bad in a coffee spot or whatever the case may be, or wherever you at, just talk to her about something random. Oh, yo, you're so beautiful. I would like to get to know you. Just have a regular conversation and see how she feeds off of the energy that you give. You give her. Everywhere I go, I've gotten so comfortable with the shit that everywhere I go, I could just have a regular conversation with women. I've gotten so trained with it that I can turn it on in the moment. So you know how, like, you know how they say you practice as if you play in the game. So that way, when the actual game comes, you don't feel any butterflies or anything like that. You practice like, you feel me? You're going to play the game. So I always talk to women as if I would talk to the women I'm interested in as a whole. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not on no flirty type shit, but the way which I approach, I have a regular conversation. It's like, I don't, the weather today or no shit like that. It's like, yo, here's what this, that, and the third is. It's like, bam. And, sometimes it's so when the moment happens, it can flow fluidly. And sometimes I get fucked up because, you feel me, I really don't be interested in a woman and shit. Like, sometimes I don't be interested and I'm just speaking because we're in the same vicinity and it's like we can pass time or blah, blah, blah. And it can lead to that, and it's just like, oh well, you have a nice day, or whatever. Oh damn, and you ain't gonna ask for my number. I didn't. I wasn't talking for that. You feel me? But when you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, so the nerves ain't there. So now, when you don't practice it enough, because you really don't fuck with women like that, you feel me? Until it's time, like if you don't practice that enough, when it comes, you're gonna get nervous. You're not gonna know what to say. You're gonna say stupid shit. You feel me? But when you in a fluid conversation, now you can hear, okay, she fucking with me too. Now I can listen to her converse. Now I can look at her body language. Now some of that, I'm glad I mentioned body language, because some of that shit you didn't have to be passively rejected with if you would have paid attention to the body language from the jump. Because the conversation that you having with a motherfucker, when she really into you, women lean into you. Women are some of the most amazing creations on this earth, but women are some of the most body language driven entities on the earth. She'll tell you everything she's feeling about you if you're looking at her right. You feel me? She could tell when you can tell when she, when she leans back a little bit, you're too close. And that's not just physically too close. It's like, oh, you're doing too much. You feel me? When she starts to lean into you, she's like, you can get closer. She folds her arms, you on some bullshit. You feel me? There's little nuances that women do if you actually paid attention to it when you communicated with them, let you know whether or not you about to be rejected. But because we don't know those nuances, and because we have that that sense of entitlement, my nigga, that sense of motherfucking entitlement, we end up looking at it from the perspective of, you know what? She just playing hard to get. She don't want you. She don't want you, and you're not used to being rejected that way. So now I guess the gist of it all is like, well, how do you get used to overcoming rejection? You have to accept that rejection is inevitable, for one. And for two, you have to pay attention to what the fuck you have to pay attention to what you reject. You have to pay attention to, the reality that you're not everybody's cup of tea. No matter how fresh you get, no matter how good you look, no matter how much, like, you have to realize that it's just a reality. It's just a reality. And if you were more comfortable with, not feeling like you are personally attacked, you see what I'm saying? Like something's wrong with you because the motherfucker don't want you. Nah, they just don't want you. Like, that's not what they want. And it's cool. But what's not cool is the way we get overly aggressive and we get retarded when it comes to being rejected. Like, my nigga, it's not the end of the world. But somehow we make it the end of the world, because what is it that you're rejecting? Are you rejecting my approach? Or are you rejecting me? So now we have to ask ourselves, what are we internalizing? Is she rejecting me and everything she doesn't know about me, or my approach to her? Yeah, sit with that. I did the dramatic pause for a reason. I need y'all to sit with that. Because sometimes we're sitting here wondering if this person is rejecting us as an entire essence of a person, and we have not even spent 10 minutes with this person yet. All they know is what the fuck we look like. And we're being rejected off of what we present physically from that. Like, you don't know anything about me. Now, because we know everything about ourselves, that's what we think this person is rejecting. Those rose-colored glasses come on, but they don't necessarily make the person look better than they are. They make you forget who the fuck you are in relation to this person. This motherfucker don't know you, bruh. Like, serious shit. This motherfucker just don't know you. And that is A-okay. But again, what's not okay is responding in a retaliative mentality based off of the fact that you're assuming something, you internalized something that was not even projected. You feel what I'm saying? And then to have that kind of feeling of, like, there has to, in my opinion, I feel like there has to be some kind of abandonment issue tied to that shit. Low key. Because it's like, they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the approach. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, you got a man. Oh, you got this. Now it comes to an interrogation because it's like, I have to figure out why the fuck you don't want me. Does it matter? She don't know you. And then it's like, my thing is this, because it get fucked up because you get the number of the chick, and it's like we play on both sides of the field, because on the other side of that is like, let's say we don't get rejected and we find out the motherfucker ain't for us. Nigga, she didn't know you. Either way, it's the same dynamic. But again, that entitlement comes when you continually and continually get numbers, when you continually and continually get women off of hello. Respectfully, everybody gets got off hello. There's not like there's not many relationships that I've seen developed off of true connection. It's off of best performance. Best performance doesn't usually get rejected. So now when it does get rejected, it's like, yo, I gave her my best shit. That's probably because, nigga, she didn't want the performance and she can tell it was performance. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. There's an organic feel that you give off when you're genuinely speaking from the heart. And I get it, man, I ain't speaking from the heart about no bitch I don't love. Like, no, it's not about loving them. But when you're genuinely speaking from the heart, when you are in a space of love, and love is the power for betterment through correction, when you generally speak with that, people gonna feel it. Women gonna feel it too. So when your conversations are rooted in that, she knows. But when your conversation, like, there's an empty feeling when you're deceiving somebody. Your words come off emptily. And you know it too when you've been saying, like, when you're telling a lie. You feel me? There's a certain emptiness in your soul as you're speaking it that lets you know that there's nothing behind what I'm saying whatsoever. When you speaking the truth, when you speaking facts, when you standing on what the fuck you standing on, it's coming off genuine. Now, some people don't have the discernment to know what between the truth or a lie, whatever the case may be. That's how we end up getting numbers from women that we don't know shit about and blah, blah, blah. But when you know that speaking a certain way is going to exude a certain energy, there's no reason to get rejected. I mean, there's no reason to fear the rejection. You feel me? But now, when that rejection happens and you know that what you were saying had no substance behind it, had no intent behind it, like even the words that we speak, sometimes we don't even have to mention the word sex when we're talking to a woman, and sex will be what our intention is for speaking to her. And you don't think that exudes in a conversation? You don't think that's on the forefront, or that even is on the brink of coming out when we're having that conversation? Because it does. The shit that you actually feeling on the inside when you're actually speaking, it projects out. So a lot of times the shit that you being rejected for, it ain't got shit to do externally, it got shit to do with what's coming out your mouth because of what's behind the words that are coming out your mouth. And sometimes it's nothing. I'm telling you, like, as a motherfucking speaker, as a motherfucker who talks a lot, I can tell you that there's a different feeling when you're telling the truth and when you're not. You feel me? It seems like there's some kind of void missing behind the words. There's something missing behind the words when you're not telling the truth, or when you know that you're making something because there's no feeling behind it. The truth is always back with feeling, and I don't think people understand that. I don't mean emotions as if you like no. The truth and feelings and truths go hand in hand. When what you feel, now that's where it should get fucked up too, because if what you perceive is the truth and you speaking from that perspective, it comes with a certainty. You feel me? It comes with a set certainty that can't be changed, it can't be shaken, it can't be broken. It is there and it is not going any motherfucking where. So when we're approaching women, we don't think that uncertainty is there. This is why I say I don't approach women that I can already tell that the words that I got to speak to this woman, I can tell that when they come out of my mouth, they're not going to be what I need them. They're not going to be discerning. I mean, they're not going to be genuine words because I'm trying to get her. You feel what I'm saying? Because now I have to be performative and shit. But when I'm actually in my space and I'm me, it turns them on. It does something totally different to them. Women love and women can feel honesty. They can feel it in the words. They don't even know that's what they're feeling. But again, when you low key getting passively rejected, they know you capping. They know you capping. You ever been And I'm gonna show you how they know you know, and I'm gonna show you how you know, and I'm gonna show you how obvious it is. You ever heard a child lie? Like you look at them and it's like it ain't nothing behind those words. You see what I'm saying? There's no certainty behind those words. There's nothing behind those words, and you like, all right, I could tell. And everybody, we think it's because of the stuttering and stammering and shit. That's not it. That's not it. I know people who stutter, and I can still feel the essence in their words when they're telling the truth, and I can still feel the absence of that essence in those words when they're lying. It ain't got nothing to do with the stuttering and the stammering and the nervousness and all of that shit. Like, no, there's a certain certainty that comes in words when you're telling the truth. Children do it all the time. When you know when a child really ain't lying, but then you know when a child really is. You dig what I'm saying? But again, boy who cried wolf type shit, all of that shit. But you don't you think that suddenly stops when you get older because you just practiced it enough? No. No. When you lie as an adult, that same emptiness is there. That same emptiness in your words is there. One of the biggest issues is we lie so much as people because we're in such a performative state and a performative mentality that we can't tell the difference between the shit because we don't know what it feels like to hear genuine words anymore. I'm not trying to toot my horn. I'm not going, but excuse me. My podcast is established like that. Again, I say it a lot, but I'm going to say it again. This is why I can go an hour and a half, 2 hours. Because what it is that I'm saying, I know I'm only going to speak from the place in which I'm certain about. I'm not going to make up any false information. I'm not going to try to make myself look better than I am. None of that shit. I'm just going to speak from the perspective of where I need to come from. So I don't have to worry about, dwelling too much on what I have to get right or what is that and the third. Nah, that's not it. And for y'all that have been rocking for this a long, long time, like y'all know what I'm talking about. That validates and it further validates what I'm saying. When we're approaching women, bro, when we're approaching motherfucking women, this energy is there. Case in point, one like my audience, most of my audience, or bulk of my audience is women, and motherfuckers be like, why do women like it's what's behind my words, bro. It's what's behind my words. When I do speaking events, I haven't done one since the demic and all of that other shit. And I just ain't got back into it. And I might not even do one. I'm on a travel run right now, baby. I'm in a whole nother state. I'm gonna be somewhere else in a couple months. Man, I better hope I find my wife on this road because if not, this freedom is fun, baby. But yeah, real shit though. Let me get back on point. That rejection shit is largely tied to a mirror being held up. Oh, why she ain't had to lie, man. She could have this, that, and the third. You're lying when you're speaking to her. And this is why after the rejection happens, it goes into other dynamics. Oh, you can't have a man. It goes into the manipulation. Well, the manipulation was already there, but then it just comes out on surface a little bit more because it's, oh, you can't have friends. He don't let you have friends. He don't do this. He don't do this. Are you happy? Are you married? It's like, oh, why do you have to go that way? You feel me? Sometimes you can have a conversation, make a motherfucker forget all those things. I'm telling you, I done took a couple wives. I ain't gonna say a couple because I don't want to seem like I was breaking up happy homes, but they was married and they came on to me. To fucking me. Pun intended. But they came on to me. You feel me? But it was the very shit that, because they all said the same shit. Well, they husband, they man, whoever the fuck they was with wasn't doing certain shit, or, you know what I'm saying, he wasn't doing what he started doing anymore. Like, you can't keep up that shit forever, bro. Imagine this, we get with people to try to have relationships that are gonna last forever, and we approach them using tactics that are not designed to last forever. Only thing that lasts forever is the truth. So therefore you have to be honest in what it is that you're saying. So when you're approaching a woman where you're trying to get her number, you feel me? Your performance has to be a certain way for the duration of however it is. See me, I look at forever as a long ass fucking time. I don't know how many forevers y'all got, but for me, forever is a long ass fucking time. And that is a long time to be pretending some shit. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And fake it till you make it. I can't do that shit. I gotta be me from the jump. Therefore, I can be me the whole time. So The conversation that I'm going to have with you, the conversation I'm going to have with you when I first meet you will be equivalent to the conversation I have when we depart. It's nothing going to change in that. If we want to get to a point, and I'm going to try to say this and I'm going to start wrapping it up. If we want to get to a point where we're not being rejected and we're not like, we got to approach the conversation and the situation genuinely. I anticipate, because I've lived a decent amount of life on this, and it's like, even if the people that are not in my life anymore, because we may have broken up or, time and distance or whatever the case may be, they're still in my mind. That means they're here forever. I had to sit and look at how many people do I have in here forever that ain't here. You feel what I'm saying? But how did I end up getting them forever? How did we end up having an impact with each other forever? I was just talking to this woman. I wasn't really talking to her. Her husband, her fiance, sent me a message or whatever the case may be, posing as her, and he, text me or whatever the case may be. I didn't have her number saved in my phone, but we have a certain thing that we established years ago that lets us know who is who. So she texted me and she was like, the phone texted me, was like, "This Racine?" I was like, "Perhaps. Who is this?" And then it was like, so there was an Orbit commercial about cootie queens and lint lickers and shit. So I would always call her cootie queen. She would call me lint licker or whatever the case may be. Or she'll call me cootie king or whatever the case may be. So a memory came up for one of our old college friends. And it was the Orbit commercial or whatever the case may be. So she comments like, and then says, "You're always going to be my cootie king." You're engaged, baby. You can't say no shit like that. All right, or whatever, homie. But I didn't respond to it, or I did respond, or something. I don't know. But I got a text because I don't really be on Facebook unless I'm stealing shit to post on Instagram. But this particular time, I seen it, and so he comes back, and he's responding, send a picture. So she's telling me about it's her in air quotes, and then send me a picture of the daughter and then the fiance. And I was like, "Nigga, you a goofball." And I could still take your girl if I said, and my thing was this, I had not talking to that woman in over 10 years. 10, my nigga. I had not talking to that woman in over 10 years. And you're threatened by me still? I always wonder, like, it's not, for me, it's like, what relationship did your man allow you to feel like we had? Like, no, not your man. Like, what relationship did you allow your man to believe we had or we still have, to where these niggas is still mad at me and I haven't talked to y'all in decades? It's different, but it's a testament to what happens when you speak and you come from that space. You feel what I'm saying? When we start to understand that every encounter that we have in this world is forever. It's forever. It's going to impact you forever. You feel what I'm saying? Forever. You can't just spend time going and approaching situations from a temporary reality. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to be able to actualize your potential to turn it into value. You have to be able to speak and approach these women in the regards of, hey, I have to speak as I genuinely am. Approach it from the perspective of, yo, my first conversation has to be equal to our last conversation. Now, of course, you're not going to be talking about the same shit because you grow and you develop and shit like that. But when you let that guard down and you can start off like that, that lets you know how long you can have forever with this person. But why do y'all motherfuckers get upset, bewildered and all of the other goofy shit when you're getting rejected, when you know you're lying? You may not be lying to her, or she may be really beautiful or whatever the case may be, but that's not genuinely who you are. You're performing to get her. Performances don't last forever. Eventually, somebody got to yell cut. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where that pretending shit goes out of the window. So why begin with pretending? Why start the shit off pretending? That shit don't make no motherfucking sense. It's devastating. It's damaging to you to start off pretending. And low key, I feel like that's where the passive rejection comes from. Motherfuckers really know. I know that you can't. I know that men can't handle rejection for real, whatever the case may be. But even still, deeper than that, it's like I know that what you giving me ain't real. Like there's a disconnect in the conversation. It's just an empty void. Like it's two motherfuckers talking, but they ain't really speaking. That's why the conversation don't really be happening the way it's supposed to happen. It's it's interrogation, it's questioning, it's all of this shit. Like, when was the last time you actually had a conversation with a motherfucker so good that you didn't even know that you didn't think to ask their name. You didn't ask their age. You didn't ask what they did. You didn't like, there's a certain criteria that we all are walking towards that we feel like we have to make up and compete with and actually be before we can ever truly let our guards down. And that's what I'm saying. Like people be like, I need somebody around me who's going to allow me to be my motherfucking self. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why, like, no, be yourself first and all of those people come to you. Rejection is obsolete at that point. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to gloat or toot my horn or shit like that. But rejection becomes obsolete at that point when you're really who you are and you're moving around the spaces you're supposed to move around. I don't do none of the shit I do for play. The people in my space, we don't do none of the shit for play. We genuinely are who we are. You see what I'm saying? We genuinely are who we are, and we can tell in real time what we need to keep in our spaces and what we need to separate from it. So when it comes to passive aggression, when it comes to that passive rejection and shit, like, did you really get rejected or were you exposed? And now it's showing up. Now it's like, okay, the potential that I don't have or the potential that I'm failing to realize or use or actualize to make myself valuable. Because again, like I said, once your value is actualized, if your attraction to women doesn't change, then you playing with yourself. Excuse me. And it's not even so much if your attraction in your women doesn't change, because it can still stay the same. But if your value doesn't showcase a different type of woman that's separate from your potential, you didn't actualize your potential, or you're actualizing a potential that ain't yours. And for a lot of us, that's the truth. That's why we be like, midlife crises are heavy amongst men because men go off to do everything to compete with other men. Not to collaborate with them, but to compete with them. See, I don't compete against men anymore. I never did, to be honest with you. It was they were always outclassed. But I learned that they was outclassed because I was always genuinely myself. And then genuinely being myself, I can actually lead through a collaborative energy as opposed to a competitive energy. Tying it back, our rejection and shit comes in. The fear of rejection is like, yo, I lost the competition. This is a bad bitch right here, and I couldn't get her. This is a bad bitch right here, and I couldn't get her. What does that say about me? What does that mean about me? There's dudes that I knew that would get upset because I could pull the chicks that they was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll walk into a building. This was an undergrad too. I'll walk into a building or I walk into a party or some shit and I see this dude macking on shorty hard. And as soon as she see me, case in point, I'm gonna say this, I'm really trying to wrap it up. There was this dude getting rejected by my old RA. When I was in college, she was my RA. She was one of my peer leaders too or some shit at one point. But we was real cool. So much so that it's like we in a club. I had never seen her in the club before. And when I say I wanted her, I wanted her my freshman year. She was a junior and shit. But I was like, man, she was fat too. Like, boy, that thing was poking. And it's still poked to this day, my nigga. But it was a couple I had like that. It was juniors. I was the freshman and shit that was just like, but again, I had that je ne sais quoi. I wasn't the one always trying to holler at the chicks. It was just like, yo, we came into the conversation. We started talking, chicks start fucking with me. So anyway, we in a club. This is post-graduation and shit. So we in a club and some dude was he was macking hard and she just like, and I seen her from the cut. She didn't see me yet. So he was macking hard at her. And she just like not giving him no play. And so we managed to segue to the bar. So I'm leaning up on the bar and I look and I seen her. And y'all know women don't like being touched in the club. At all. Don't you touch a motherfucking woman arm when she walking by, my nigga. Do not do that shit. So we in a motherfucking club and shit. And she's standing by the wall, not even paying attention to me. And so I lightly touched the arm and shit. And then when she looked at me, she had a whole mean mug. And then that shit turned all the way upside down. And she was like, what you doing in here? Gave me a hug and shit. And then we ended up dancing to Bad Girl, Usher and shit on the floor and shit. Man. Man. I was mad that I was just too young for her. I wasn't that young. I was a freshman. She was a junior, but you feel me? In college years, I was too young at the time. But damn, once she lit up, it was different. And that was one of the things I'm like, it's like rejection is different. I had another situation in that same club. One of my homies, like he macking at this chick and shit, and she keep trying to fuck with me. And this was the point that I was saying with that is because I've had situations where dudes be like, I can't see why she fuck with you. What? You think you're a better competitor than me? What gives you the gall? What makes you feel like that? But it's that competitive nature and that comparison thing. I'm like, I'm beyond the competition, bro. Like, I'm beyond the competition. If we want to put this shit on paper, I already won the game. You feel me? So I don't have to approach it that way. This is why I give y'all the game, man. Y'all better stop competing with this shit because that's what's causing you to get rejected. Because you're going into worlds you're not supposed to be in. And you're thinking just because you can compete in the world that you're supposed to be in the world and you're not. And when you're not supposed to be in that motherfucking world, shit gets crazy, bro. Shit gets motherfucking crazy. Not only does it get crazy, it gets performative. And now next thing you know, you're stuck in the world for a bad bitch. I done seen motherfuckers get quote unquote turned out because they're trying to keep up with lifestyles that they can't have or they shouldn't be a part of or they shouldn't be fucking with because this person is not supposed to be in that. You're not supposed to be in that lifestyle, but you want the woman in that lifestyle. That's why these motherfuckers, and again, this goes into the actualized potential of the actualized potential becoming value. A lot of these dudes, their success is not even what they want to be successful for. It's what they want to be successful for so they can get the bitch that neglected them, that rejected them at one point in time. Back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. I don't give a fuck about nobody who curved me from back then. I don't even remember who the fuck you are. But the sole fact that I do remember who you are and I would still try and I want to shit on you now because I'm successful shows that I wasn't good at understanding that rejection. And because I wasn't understanding that rejection, it's only going to be right that I get passively rejected in my older ages now. And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end that motherfucker right there. Yeah, that's passive rejection with a little bit of the other shit. I'm getting my mojo back right, y'all. I'm going to get back in the flow doing podcasts again. But yeah, that's passive rejection with a little bit of potential and value tied into that shit. That's largely why a lot of y'all motherfuckers, a lot of us get rejected and shit because our potential and what we're trying to attract is not in alignment. I'm just speaking from I can only speak from perspective. Like I don't get rejected wherever I'm at, wherever I'm supposed to be. You feel me? In that regard, I do get passively. Like I said, I went to a speaking event about 2018 and shit. When I say the women was out there, the women was out there. There weren't even that many, but it was like, I say it had to be no more than 20, 30 people in a joint, right? But from the moment I started talking, bruh, I was in my element. You had to be there to understand what I'm talking about, but I was in my element. After that event, so many of those women started following me and shit and all of this shit. And it's like, one of them in particular, I wanted her so bad. She had a kid and everything, but I ain't know she had a kid at the time. You feel what I'm saying? That she had a home girl that was there with her and shit. And they all, when I started talking about masculinity, they had their arms folded. But by the time that shit finished, it was different. You feel me? And I knew when I was in my element. But I'm saying that because like I'm in her DMs and shit, and I'm really shooting my shot. Like I'm shooting hard, like straight 3 point, and it's like this is what's crazy. The shots are falling, but she tells me this shit. She say, you know what? I never anticipated men having the inner work done, and as much as I would love to take you up on your offer, I can't because I haven't done mine yet. And I'm like, wait, we could do it together. I still got some more to do. But again, I respected it because, when I look at it in the long run, it who I am now, it wouldn't work. There's a lot of situations that I had in my past that I'm seeing now, it wouldn't work. Because again, when I was approaching women from, oh, I'm in the church, I'm religion, like, look at how many of those relationships would be completely devastated right fucking now. My ex-girlfriend from undergrad, like 90% of the women that I involved with myself with before 25 years old, those relationships would not be, I don't dwell on that shit no more. I'm like, they we would have broke up anyway. We would have broke up anyway. Would have had to, because this version of who I am, it's always been here. It was gonna come out. I was hiding it because being performative. So now imagine that you built the whole relationship off of a falsified version of yourself. Sometimes it's good to be rejected when you're living a lie, but when you're not when you're not rejected for living a lie, that means you got to stay in that lie. Imagine what the duality would have been if I would have actually like studied and like continued studying. Like the breakthrough for understanding the Bible and the religion and shit was gonna come regardless because I actually studied the motherfucker. It was just a matter of time. But then to know that a lot of the relationships that I built were because of that. It wasn't because of me. A lot of relationships that I was trying to build was because I was in the science spot. We get so wrapped up in trying to build a relationship or build connections with people based off of the most pivotal point in our lives and not the totality of our lives at the moment. Some of us lead with our degrees. Some of us lead with our jobs. Some of us lead with our cars. Some of us lead with our clothes. But when that's what you lead with, like think about when you actually get the chick that you want and shit, you feel me? Because you was fly and all of this shit. What's the first thing she fuck up? When y'all go out, when y'all fall out, your clothes. They be creasing Jordans and shit, bleaching clothes and shit. Why? Because they feel like that's what's important to you. If a woman walked out of my space right now on some hateful shit like she did, she wouldn't know what the fuck up. She wouldn't know what the fuck up because she's like, damn, this is different. You didn't like, yeah, I led with this shit. So you can't take it, you can't stop nothing here. You leave with the car, she'll bust your windows out. You see what I'm saying? You lead with the education and the degree, she'll insult your intelligence. It's certain things like, but certain things can't be taken away when it's your essence. And you don't have to live tied to that. You feel me? You don't have to live tied to that. I know this is supposed to be about rejection, but all of this shit goes hand in hand and it ties together. And I think if we spent more time actually being honest with ourselves first, we can avoid rejection by going in spaces where we don't get rejected. You feel me? Tying it into the point that I was saying about that event that I spoke at and shit. And it was just like, not on the funny shit, but most of the women in that space, I could have got. When I say got, I could have got them because that was my element. And then it translated to like, yo, this is really who you are. Yeah, yeah. Like, so when you meet me, that's what you meet. You don't have to meet the character. And it's like, as men, we really need to get to that point where we're able to do that comfortably, confidently. Say, this is who I truly am. Now let me go meet that woman that I really want. And you're not gonna be able to do that until you actualize your potential and turn it to value. You can't be on no, like, you shouldn't be dating. You shouldn't be trying to get women and shit like that if you on some, wait till I get my money right. Or these hoes they gonna love it when I actually hit that point. That's like, no, wait till you get to that point to push yourself harder, stay out of the way, push yourself harder to get to that motherfucking point so you can now go and then stay out of the game. I stayed away from the game. I was celibate and all of the shit for, it'll be 9 years, 8 or 9 years or some shit. But look at all of the shit that I built because I was like, yo, I need to be myself. when I say all of the women, like, it's different. It's different. I'm at a point where I don't have to perform, but now it's like you got to realize that what is it that you really want out of that woman? Like, really sit and ask yourself that what is it that you really want out of that woman? Because what is it that was within yourself that's tied to that value? Because once you actualize your value, you realize the most that the woman can do and be in your space for it is to make sure the value remains. I get it. You know, we're supposed to protect them, but like, that's a whole different world that we're living in with women. You got to make all of this shit and do all of this shit. Fuck that. These are women that want a man whose potential is actualized, and they value, in their mind, an actualized potential is going to give you $100,000. Weirdos. That's not what gives it to you. But at the same time, it's like, you don't even know what potential actualized looks like if you can't even quantify what $100,000 looks like. Like, your father didn't have it, but you want me to have it because it's the same situations. It's the same situations. We live in such a toxic world, and we live in such a devastating and damaging world that we catch the short end of the stick, and it makes us translate against the world. I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about how boys, they say black women are the most unprotected. I said the reason why black women are the most unprotected because black boys are the most disrespected. And when we learn to look at it like that, we can realize why when we become men, we are that. Why when we become when we treat women that way. Because we were disrespected as boys by the girls and by the boys. Because you had to be able to compete. And if you couldn't compete, you got disrespected. You didn't receive the respect that you were supposed to get as a human being. So now that I'm the man and I got a lot of shit, and I'm not respecting shit, because how respectful are the rejections? Passive rejection is a very respectful thing in the way in which they give it to you. But before you can ever receive a passive rejection, how many rejections did you receive that are completely disrespectful? I've received several when I was a kid. And when people, when they told me no, I was ugly and they couldn't fuck with me, it was always two things. And it was three things. And it's the three things about me that I can't change. It's because I had big lips, I had a big nose, I got big eyes. Only to find out that those were the very things that all the hoes wanted. It's what they loved me for. By middle school and shit, it was, oh my gosh, I love your lips. I just want to kiss them. Oh my gosh, your nose is so cool. It sits on your face so well. It frames it so well. You have beautiful eyes, long eyelashes. That's not the case when I was younger. But that's just me and my own perspective. How many of us have that one thing or those two things or those things that we were not respected for that we feel people are going to see and that people are going to attack when we get rejected? Like, that's what we think is being rejected. That's what we think is being rejected, when it's really just has nothing to do with anything. But again, it goes back to the point that I was saying. Black boys are not respected, which leads to black men not protecting or wanting, because you don't have anything. You only protect what you value. Why would I value what disrespected me when we was kids? And you think I'm bullshitting? Look at the fucking podcast space. All these niggas is bitter and mad from shit that happened to them when they was kids, homie. They were rejected as kids and they mad still. You see what I'm saying? It's a whole different world, but it's a continual world that we always live in, and we always got to process, and we always got to walk through. And so now when we are at a point now, because of that point of being not respected as boys, we're like, now this is why women have to passively reject us. Because we become men who were once disrespected boys who still are in the space where we're fighting for respect because we have not actualized our potential to bring value to ourselves, to the shit that's around us, just to everything. We haven't done it yet. And so that's what makes rejection so hard, because we know what's really being rejected on the inside. But I'm going to go ahead and end there. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And our sons, we can avoid this early. For one, start telling them why you're telling them no. For one. But then teach them how to accept rejection early. early. Like, you can do without certain shit. Teach them how to accept rejection early, so it doesn't have to translate into them becoming men who need to have their rejection served on a platform the nice way. They can hear no and that's it. Because they need to be able to hear no and that's it. Ain't no conditions, ain't no manipulations, ain't no coercions to make the no a yes. No, nigga. No. But it starts when they boys. Which in turn, we need to start teaching our boys to respect each other as boys. And we got to start breaking the competitor's reality out of it and put the collaborative. I'm not saying don't compete, because competition is healthy. But at the same time, get into a point where if you are competing, stop giving them fucking honorable mentions and fucking participation trophies and motherfucking make these motherfuckers gladiators. You feel me? Because the same motherfuckers that suffer from, being constantly having to go through passive rejection, they the same motherfuckers who used to get honorable mentions when we was kids. They couldn't just walk off the field. They start crying because they lost. You were slow. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. When we out playing kickball, when we out running and doing relays and shit, you out there on the swing, motherfucker. You sliding down the slide, motherfucker. You can't come to field day and expect to beat anybody. We got to stop making our boy, and so now when you get into the real world and shit, now motherfucker got to, no, I was still supposed to get something. You do get something. You get a compliment and a rejection on the way out. That's an honorable mention. Passive rejection is honorable mentions. Oh no, you're a nice guy. You're this, that, and the third. I'm just not interested. That's an honorable mention. They can't tell you no. They can tell the champions no. They tell them the champions no all the time, because you know why? We're going to go get another one. Our boys need to be in a space where they're curated and they're cultivated in a way that allows them to truly be themselves and be able to walk in spaces where they are validated and substantiated amongst themselves. Then they don't have to manipulate. They don't have to lie. They don't have to start practicing these empty words and using these empty words to try to deceive and get what they want. And they can actually start learning the value of earning what they want and speaking towards that. And so now, when we get older, we don't have to worry about constantly being passively rejected. Or we don't have to worry about bullshit. We can hear the fucking truth and be okay. You feel me? Motherfuckers just be soft and shit. We got to start raising we can't raise real rap. We cannot raise another generation of boys that are soft. And I'm not just saying that because we know if we continue on this path by the year 2045, men won't be producing sperm anymore. I don't think y'all understand the depths of that shit. We're in the year 2024 now. By the year 2045, men will not be producing sperm like that. And it's like, well, saying what this got to do with the competition and everything. Well, testosterone has to be built. Testosterone has to constantly flow. Our testosterone levels are dropping by the boatload, my nigga. It's going to get scary. Polygamy is going to have to be a thing. It's going to have to be a thing soon. Make sure your boys is one of the alphas that's running the shit. Otherwise, they're going to get swallowed up in the current. But yo, my bad. I'm sorry. Look, I'm going to go ahead and edit there, yo. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.